Allo, allo, allo. Bienvenue. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So just full disclosure, I think these headphones, they have this ability to block out sound. I have to have music playing because my computer, I thought it was fixed. Well, the problem came back. It's very distracting. I still kind of hear it through here, so I actually kind of have to turn up the music. Um, I might even like put my computer like I might even actually send like it's just like with astrology you have to get in the flow. It doesn't nothing matters besides how you deliver, how I deliver. I don't care if my face is on not on camera the whole video. I'd rather I go back and forth on that, but for me it's just like this sound is it's just like this. I ordered a new fan yesterday that they told me to order. I thought it would at least hold up for like a month. So right now I'm sending a screenshot to my iPad. And I'm just gonna like literally put my computer over there, like on the like at least a few feet away from me, and then just have your chart, and then just be just yeah, just have like the present mode on with the chart, because this yeah, it's like imagine like the way I think, it's like very like stream of consciousness. It really does demand that flow state, and when you have a sound like this, annoying is an understatement. So I'm gonna put it down here. Oh my god, it's even worse. Mm. Then we're gonna share a screen. Um, okay. Now let's get that iPad open. Oh yeah, I forgot to do the timer. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? I'm gonna go with the mic just because it's a little bit of a distance. Stop share. Audio. Microphone. Okay, so let's see how this works. Speaker. This sound just makes it want to jump off a bridge or something. So let's see. Speaker, good. Let's do a test. Test, test, test. Microphone test. Okay, sounds perfect. So I'm gonna try to move this as far away as I can, and I'll have music playing in the background. Because I like to meditate when I do my readings. I like to close my eyes and flow. I mean, it's different for each reading, but okay, there's the clock. So yeah, there's nothing worse for my brand of astrology than something that just breaks my flow. So I'm moving it far away, but the microphone cord is very long, thank God. Let's see how far we can move it. Hold on 1 second. Okay, this should be perfect. Okay. Okay. Okay, we're good here. Let's pull it up. iPad. Get that chart pulled up. I don't have it like down here. Yeah, it's better. Sure. Okay. No. Here we go. Okay, so I have to turn my iPad. I cannot hear my computer. Wait, I'll use this to hold up the iPad. I mean, I don't need notes or anything. I just literally just I haven't even looked at your chart yet. Maybe yeah, it's all brand new. Um, all right, let's flow. Let's do it. So, lots of air going on. Nice. 29-degree sun, just like my new cat, you know. Okay. Um, so 29-degree sun, you're kind of like the master Aquarius in a sense. Um, it's like kind of like in this incarnation, it's like boss energy, but there tends to be like a lot of testing. Like you seem to get like you tend to get tested a lot. Hold on, I need to go get my Merlin stone necklace. One sec. All right, we're good. Oh, okay. Anyways, one second. Attaching my pendant of my chain. Chain gives me powers. I wear it every day, but I sometimes take it off at night. It's a little bit heavy. All right, let's get it. So, yeah, so Aquarius sun, we've got a Gemini moon, so you're double air. Um, people with Aquarius 29-degree suns, they are very good at being rebellious. There's a certain action orientation, but is karmically as you have square Neptune. I knew it. Oh no, you don't. Fuck. Okay, never mind. That takes away. I was wrong. I was gonna guess you're gonna have South Node square Neptune. I've had two or three in a row with that, but you do not. Um, but you do have Sun square Neptune. Let's name out the key aspects. Mercury opposite Uranus. So let me guess you have Gemini. Let me guess without looking. Your Chiron is going to be in Gemini or Virgo or Taurus. Whenever I guess wrong, Gemini ends up being Taurus. Let's check. Where's Chiron? Pisces, way off. At least I'm honest. And your Saturn is conjunct my sun, so there's that karmic connection between me and you. A lot of my planets are people who are meant to come to me for life guidance in important times. And that's why I keep myself affordable compared, I am the best natal chart astrologer in the world. Um, it's undeniable. And I mean, like, at least of anyone that's big, besides Astrolata, I've never seen her work, but the Leo King, I'm just significantly better than him. That's been told to me by many people who've gotten readings from him. I'm not showing off. I'm just saying that he charges like $2,000 for a reading. He's a complete egomaniac, narcissistic, just
I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I just think that he is doing something that God doesn't like. I've been with people, very holy people, very high spiritual people from all over the world. I'm not even talking about astrologers. Um, and they tell me like when you start to get greedy about something like astrology, you lose your powers. And I do believe that he has talent. This is a video about him, but it's just an example of, oh shit, hold on. I thought I forgot to turn the water off. I did not, on a cup I was cleaning. So that is good. But yeah, anyways, so yeah, like I keep it affordable. I do what I can for people. I know the world is difficult. I know that people have, you know, it's not easy, and people are trying to. I understand that when I bring for each reading, it's coming with high expectations, and people have been waiting for this. Each reading I have, I treat it like the World Cup final. I mean, I would I like I do good under pressure, and yeah, I do believe that at least you know like I do believe that the value of my readings is probably closer to, if the Leo King can charge 1,500 and 2,000, my shit is probably you know worth 5,000 for a nail reading for me, just because it goes so deep and it's literally telling you everything about your life. But no, I'm not like I'm not money motivated in the sense that I never really saw astrology as something that was meant to be about money. Anyways, enough about me. Let's talk about you. So the whole point is about you. So just making a tea here, just bear with me. So yeah, double air, you have zero fire in your chart whatsoever. Um, so that means you have zero plants in fire signs. And on top of that, which is interesting because your north node's in the first house, which is a fire house. You have no planets in fire houses, so you're very low fire. We'll see if you have anything with Pluto. Let's check. Yeah, you got Pluto opposite Venus, Pluto opposite Mercury. That can kind of add a little bit of fire. Uranus, it's more airy, but I think it also can kind of add some excitement, passion. Opposite Mercury, opposite Venus, Mars. Okay. All right, cool. Let's do it. So, moon unaspected, that's interesting. Moon in Gemini. Gemini moons, air moon, there can be a tendency to intellectualize your emotions. So it's supremely important for you to understand that, yes, there are no aspects to your moon. It's an unaspected moon. So, unaspected moon people, their emotions can run a little bit like, how do I explain this? Let me get my computer real quick. Um, unaspected moon, like people with that, like they can be a little bit like they're like it can be a little bit hard for them to, like, there's no checks and balances, right? An aspect, as you know, it's like if you have a 90-degree angle between like Pluto and your moon, or like it doesn't have to be exactly that. It could be like 93, that's a square. 180 is an opposition. When two planets are together, it's a conjunction. Sextile 60 degrees, triangle 120. So when there's no, an aspect of the moon, um, it can make someone like like have like a very like especially as the Gemini, like really flip back and forth with their with kind of like their mood, not necessarily moods, but just like with kind of like where they're at, their disposition. But there's like a certain like charisma that it carries too. Um, and like when it comes to self-expression of emotions and how one feels, there can be like no restraint. I'm just gonna see feel the sound. The music's kind of louder here, so it's better. Um, so yeah, like either they can like really like express themselves, just like it just comes out, or they can like really shut themselves away in their kind of own inner world if things kind of don't turn out the right way. Um, so you are air moon, so they're not known for their sensitivity. Now, don't I'm not gonna make that statement yet because we have to see the other stuff. Um, but there can be like a certain hypersensitivity that can leave someone an aspect of moon a little bit vulnerable um to kind of like other people's energy. So yeah, but like they can be very intuitive and pick up on a lot of stuff. So addressing that, and then it's Gemini. So Gemini and Aquarius, obviously they're both air signs. They work very well together. They have similar goals. Your sun, your moon, similar goals. I'm gonna go do a little bit of cat streaming. I know I'm gonna hear this sound. I can probably deal with it for like a few minutes. Look at the new kitties. Right now, but I don't. I promise. It's just so annoying. Imagine you take your computer in to get like fixed. It's not like they charge me like so much, like I tip them extra too. But yeah, it's just disappointing that after only like a day or really like my first, yeah, there was like one night where it was fine, and then I'm using this like cooling pad underneath my computer. Um, so yeah, my fan is just fucked. That's the end of the story. So hopefully the new one that comes in can be installed easily. All right, so we're entering the cat zone. Two new babies. Oh, hey baby. Hey little stroke. So I'm just gonna act chill because they usually get really excited. Hey, let's show you. She's a double Aries, so she's crazy. She's my baby. I've only fallen in love like right away, like love at first sight, with three cats in my life. One was Whitey, who's like my cat back home. One was Mika, obviously, that was like just instant. And then this is the third. And I love her too. They're both like 1,000% adopted. But this one is like a special, and I could feel her energy. She's definitely my cat. And her and Mika are very, very similar. They have the exact same birthday. And Mika is the smartest cat, smartest animal I've ever met, honestly. So this cat has a lot of markings of a genius, and she's very energetic. She'll start biting me unless she's like calm. Maybe if I don't pay attention to her as much, she'll be nice. But yeah, let's get to work. Okay, so let me just test sound one more time just to make sure. So okay, so anyways, yeah, so Gemini and Aquarius, they work well together, both air signs. You're dealing with the Taurus rising with North Node in Taurus. So you have a lot of Pisces energy in the 11th, interesting, including Venus and um, Mercury, which are together with Chiron conjunct Venus. So your Venus is interesting with Saturn too. But you have what I don't know, you have opposite Uranus trine. Okay, so you have this aspect that I call like the artistic creative uh like it's probably of any aspect of anything in astrology, it's probably like what can make someone like the most creative, and that's Neptune trine Venus. It's like the imagination meets the artistic ability, right? Venus is like in this case in creativity, it's like, the Van Gogh, the Neptune was the imagination for the Starry Night painting. Um, Venus was his ability to actually draw that, right? So you have that. That's really cool, but we'll get to that later. Um, so yeah, like overall, as an Aquarius 20 degrees, your goal, you're really here as a South Node, meaning South Node is like your past life karma, kind of like the been there, done that. The North Node is like what you're trying to get to in this lifetime. It's like what you're trying to accomplish. So when it's in the first house, the North Node, and the South Node is in the seventh in Scorpio, I think that there's a karmic tendency for you to get quite attached in relationships and allow them to define you a little bit too much. And I think that it's all has to do with self love and a lack of self love that you've had in different lifetimes because you know there's trauma, right? You have past life trauma because it's Scorpio, and um you got Mars conjunct the South Node, so maybe you were like, maybe there's like past lives of you as like some kind of like warrior, um or just someone who's very very I guess vivacious, very very full, not like vivacious, just very very just ready for battle kind of vibes. um and people with North Node and Taurus, you know um they're here, so it's on the ascendant, so you're really really here to move into a life of independence. It doesn't mean you have to be single forever, single, but it means that if you do have relationships, it's really important that they're peaceful and that you keep your own independence and you get to know yourself better. There's a karmic reason that you are an Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign that doesn't give a fuck about what other people think of it. Aquarius is the sign, the water bearer, the one who is different, so, and who's rebellious, right? So that's you, you're not here to be like everyone else. And yeah, so it's really, really important to know that, and to take the road less traveled. So also there's a significance like to your career and your like greater purpose, because there's this mix between wanting to be really respected in your career, in the things you do, like big picture things you do. um yeah, so that exists, of course, right? However, there's also a part of you that's like meant to really be of service and really meant to, I mean, helping the world, and helping people could be very, very beneficial for you and many people, right? But we all have individual talents, and when you have a lot of air in your chart, uh, a lot of water, earth, let's check. Yeah, you get your Mars and Scorpio too. I mean, that's a strong placement. Um, Earth, you're rising. Yeah, just your rising. So it's mostly water and air, which is very uncommon. I see that combo. Um, but with Earth, with lack of fire. So, um, water and air. Water is intuition, emotion, emotional intelligence, being able to sense the undercurrents, being able to express your emotions. Um, you know, it it definitely, like, people who lack water sometimes just have a difficulty with, it's not like that they can't feel that they don't have emotions, but just with expressing them. And I don't know. But when you're Gemini moon, right? Those Gemini moons, air moon sign people usually have trouble with, like, they tend to prefer logic over emotion. Hey, come here, Nina. And Mila, come here, baby. So it's really important for Gemini Moon and Aquarius Sun to understand that emotions are energy. You have to feel it. So if something painful happens, it's really important that you don't push it away. It's important for you to really, really feel it and find ways to get in touch with your emotions, right? Now you also have a wonderful grand trine. Now, this gives me even more of a thought of you as an artist in some way, or just creative, because you have Jupiter, trine Neptune, trine Venus, slash Chiron. So that could even be like for someone who could be a great healer. Um, Someone who heals through their creativity, someone, and Saturn's in there too, so it's like someone who can be organized with respect to all that, and be kind of an authority in the kind of spiritual, kind of esoteric type of work. Let's say you're a painter, an artist of some sort, as a Gemini moon, do you have an emotional need for curiosity and for trying different things and for not being the same person, like for just like exploring life in different ways and trying to zen out this, like, get zen with this sound. Um, so it's important as a Gemini moon to, one, not intellectualize your emotions too much, right? Where you don't trust your emotions and you're way more logical about them. Come here, baby. I'm gonna leave if you guys don't hang out with me. But also it's important not to spread yourself too thin. A lot of Geminis, they just do too much stuff. I don't know how else to say it. Like they let's say they start 100 different things, and yeah, like they start, like, imagine the person jack of all trades, master of none, the person who embarks on like a million different projects, and then they don't really become like a master of anything. So that's like the lowest. That's like one of like the issues with Gemini. I want to look up your Squarespace thing. Karmic bonds of karmic love life. Okay, so lots of karmic stuff. Career. So parents, karmic love life. Okay, gotcha. Um. So yeah, I mean, like with the moon, which is usually the mother, there's no hard aspects. But like with the sun, there's a square with Neptune, and that so this is really important, right? Because as an Aquarius, you're trying to define yourself based on who you really are, right? On like a deep level, right? And society tells us to be one way, right? Like, follow these guidelines, and maybe even in our own family we have that. So we will have family members that might push us, to where we're like, I don't want to be like that person. I don't want to end up like them. So it pushes us into a different direction. Um, but there's not so much about your parents here. I mean, very, 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 unaspected moon. But the sun square Neptune sometimes, like, for the father or whoever the more dominant parent was, it can represent someone who wasn't as present or who didn't really give that direction. Um, it can lead to like lots of issues with self-image, lots of issues with it makes you very, very sensitive, very good healing, but like um super empathy, like where you can like feel the suffering of others. So this adds the water you have. Um but it can make someone like kind of like not see themselves clearly, but it gives them like tons of like creative talents. But the issue is, especially like when you're younger, it's like you know, and that's why spirituality for Sun Square Neptune is so huge, because it kind of helps you understand. Like this reading, for example, like this helps you understand who you are and who you're not. But there's like a lot of battles that you have to overcome to feel strong, to feel confident, to feel like you know who you are, what your mission is. And also Sun Square Neptune, and like all these things, get like in time they get worked through, right? So maybe it's in your mid-20s, your Saturn turn, but falling victim to like energy vampires, to injustice, being in the victim position, just different like kind of like until that person follows their north node, which I'll get back into in a sec, they can just be in like this cycle of kind of meaninglessness, like tons of confusion, paranoia, and there's even potential for like drug, alcohol abuse. And a lot of times it's at your early age that you have to really deal with this stuff, right? Um, and like it creates lots of insecurities as a kid. So a lot of people with this get bullied or deceived. They really just want to fit in. Um, so it's complicated, and it's like sometimes people have this like with this they have this like image of being guilty, and other people look at them and kind of like they think, oh, that person's guilty. Like there's it's almost like they're wearing a label around their neck, like a shirt or something that says like "pick on me" or "I'm guilty." Um, so yeah, all kinds of stuff can happen. It's all about like, kind of learning to fight, not just folding. You know, when someone backs you into a corner or some situation, it's about finding that strength. And then that ends up helping you with your self-image, with your confidence. And usually like people with this, like their life kind of feels like they're battling against the odds. Um, So and a deep healer, deep empathy, caring a lot about people who are, suffering in the world. And yeah, I mean, lots like just you gotta watch out for people betraying you. Um, One of the best things with Neptune squares is being of service in some type of way, or just like increasing your um your like finding a set of morals that you can base all your decisions off of, right? Because it's really about inner strength and self doubt, right? And this is also crucial to your physical health. So it's a psychosomatic. So you can be more susceptible to like infections and even misdiagnosis, like neurosis, like just all kinds of stuff, right? Um, so it's like extra care is required for you. Um, but you have to be careful um, with any medication, drugs, alcohol, anything poisonous, even water, right? So the best way to deal with this is to use camera affirmations and cameras like I am beautiful, I am this, I am that, or in the mirror, and then like with the camera, because the Neptune rules these two, doing something like filming yourself and talking about your emotions. It has a magical um, you know thing. And also, of course, it's the creative outlet, and it's not, as an Aquarius, the lesson is like it's not about a million people seeing it. The South and Scorpio sometimes can have a karmic tendency of being too like about power, too about winning and all that. So it's really about, you know, like you're here to be present and happy in the present moment each day and grateful. That's Taurus North Node, is that you're here to get past life misdemeanors, past life drama, like past lives that were full of fucking just heavy drama. Like this life should be calm, right? And yeah, Sun Square Neptune people can excel in anything creative, anything like music, poetry, art, whatever it is, anything, any kind of charity work, activism, you name it, right? And then everything in any, and like usually they're always like not always, but they tend to be very interested in spirituality because that's what saves them, right? Um, but they have to be really careful. You have to be really, really careful with any gurus or potential cults, like the kind of darker side of like those realms, because Sun Square Neptune people can be quite gullible. right? So they have to really have like solid friends around them that they really trust and take time with their decisions. Um, Besides that, so yeah, like I was saying, Gemini moon can get quite bored. So for relationships, you have like your south node on your descendants, so you're gonna have lots of very karmic relationships. We have Neptune the seventh, so there can be that kind of rose-colored glasses in love where you sort of can get overly like idealistic about partners, like, oh, this is the one way too fast. Um, but then become like disillusioned by the imperfections that they show. Everyone's imperfect. Um, so it can be like someone who really like looks for perfection in relationships, look like tries to find God in relationships, and the lesson is around just accepting people for their imperfections and creating relationships that work for you and your design. So as an Aquarius is about freedom, it's about space. So you're here to really be your own person, right? You're not here to be held back by relationships, as in past lives, relationships defined you too much, which held you back from discovering who you are, right? So your moon in the second house also is about that moral. It's like if you had like the declaration, a constitution of like the rules that you stand by, right? And your son's in the 10th house, so your like big picture life dharma is super important to you. And the friends that you have, the groups that you join, like they should be, like being a part of any kind of spiritual group would be very, very important and life changing for you, having spiritual friends, um people who see things kind of in the same way as you, because it can be very difficult for you with people who don't speak your language, because as a Mars and Scorpio, which you also have Mars on the descendant, so that's going to make one very, very driven towards relationships, but there can be a lot of intensity and a lot of drama with that Scorpio. Pluto ruled seventh house. I'm gonna move back upstairs because the cats are just doing their own thing. But oh, my camera disappeared. God damn it! I'll stay on here for a few minutes because I thought it was being filmed. Um, but yeah, like with a Scorpio, like Scorpio, Pluto ruling your seventh from the where is Pluto? From the fifth. Um, there's just this energy of like death, rebirth, transformation. Hold on. Yeah, really, really like kind of like it kind of makes someone have that soulmate or nothing type energy. So it's really important to have patience in relationships and to know that Mars on the ascendant can sometimes create fights, uh and it can kind of bring one's like darker side out in relationships, but it can also, you have to watch out for your a karmic tendency of codependency and of relying too much on relationships to find yourself. So if you're not in a relationship, um there could be a divine reason. You can imagine yourself in past lifetimes having so many lifetimes, because what happens when you're in a relationship is that you're in the combined chart of the relationship, right? Every two humans have a combined chart, and you can lose sight of your natal chart, which is, it's basically like you become you're living more in the energy that's formed between you and the other person as opposed to your own individual energy, and that's why you're in Aquarius this lifetime, self-discovery. And Gemini moon, that you're a Gemini moon because that's your instinct, is to be curious and to explore a lot. um but yeah, like I said before, learn to feel your emotions if you haven't already, and you have the water, so I don't think that you are bad in that area. um but the issue with the lack of fire, right? So you do have Mars on the ascendant, but still, lacking fire, and you have Mars in Scorpio, so that isn't a fire sign, but Mars in Scorpio is pretty fiery. So, is it still not filming? Jesus Christ. Mars and Scorpio, people who have Mars and Scorpio sometimes, like, they're not no Scorpio in the big three, but they can feel like a Scorpio. Um, or like that's like a very important sign to them, and that's because it's in its dignity sign. So Mars is number one in Aries and in Scorpio, right? So Mars and Scorpio people, they're no bullshit, they get down to the nitty gritty. They are people who they have this built-in lie detector. They can be quite vengeful. You don't want to cross them in the wrong way. um And yeah, they really want to dive deep beneath the kind of superficial parts of life into like the really deep parts. So as a Gemini, it's quite different, because Gemini moons, they enjoy small talk. Even if they're very deep people, they're people who are capable of having, of just conversating. They love to talk, they love their friends, they love, you know, like I always say, like during COVID, it was probably the Gemini moons that had the toughest time, right? Because they really thrive. And it's quite extroverted, right? I'm not calling you an extrovert by cats. But just that combination. Hold on a second. Just that combination of those signs. Like, yeah, you're Taurus rising, so more laid back, more, like that can make one a little bit introverted, but like Aquarius is not an introverted sign. It's all about friends also. So your sun, and your moon, sorry, Esme, but you're in my spot. Your sun and your moon are very much about oh shit. Oh my god, I just caught my computer. I set it down on something and it like slipped off, but I caught it. I have like one thing I have that's like so, oh my god, my fucking webcam just fell in my fucking water. One thing I have is amazing reflexes. I don't know. Like once I was like story time, I guess. I didn't see this fucking camera. When I was in high school, I used to like sneak out to a party. Like my mom would have like a midnight curfew, and I would come back, stay for a little bit, then sneak out, like really, really, really like stealth. And I came back once, and it was very late. My house, like it wasn't a small house, but like you could hear. It was one of those houses you could hear everything. And I was like going in the fridge trying to eat food like late night, and my mom would have been so mad. And I dropped this jar or something, and I literally caught it like it fell out of my fridge. It's like I'm being like super quiet. I caught it like a football player, like right here. It was a jar of like it was like a big jar. I just caught it and I was like, oh my god. Like, I mean, yeah. So I just did that same thing on my computer, which would have fallen in the water. But anyways, okay. So yeah, so there's a huge social dynamic. I need to communicate. I need to get your voice out. But that's because in past lives, maybe you were held back by something or someone, a relationship, maybe that didn't allow you to speak your mind, to be your true individual self. So you're here to find peace. And Taurus North Node, like it's about like Taurus is the best sign for being chill and for presence, right? So the more you lean into your ascendant, the better, right? And the Taurus rising people, they tend to be, they're ruled by Venus, so they tend to have a very like beautiful, kind of like charming aura. And you have Venus in Pisces, which is an amazing placement of Venus, right? But you still have to watch out with that Venus of being over idealistic in love. That's the one thing. And lacking boundaries. That's another thing with the Neptune and the love karmic stuff is like the potential for lacking boundaries. But air placements like this, like they will go out and meet tons of people and um you know like I'm not worried about like anything on like the social front, but there's definitely like a need for yeah, definitely a need for like taking things very slowly. Anything related to love. What's the perfect lover for you? Well, your Juno placement is in Leo in the fourth. So obviously, like someone who can have fun, that's step one. You can't be with someone dull and boring. Of course, like I'm never gonna say like a sign that's meant to be your best. Um, your Venus in Pisces, that speaks to like a very romantic, very loving, very giving, very compassionate, very artistic. And if you're not artistic, someone who has a very amazing understanding of the arts, like like for example, let's say you're not a musician, but you like let's say you just get music on a deep level, like it touches you so deeply, you just understand it. Like I'm not a musician, but I have like an amazing ability with music, and I feel like it like, and that's kind of a Pisces thing, right? Music is like Pisces is a sign of music. You know, I mean, a lot of musicians are different signs, of course, but like when it comes to real, just like the emotional impact of music, I don't think there's any sign generally like Pisces. Of course, there are a lot of people with tons of different signs, you know, that have that deep connection. So I'm not saying that. I'm just saying in general, like Pisces are the people who like will break up with their partners because like they didn't have the same music taste. I don't know. Great. Yeah. Anyways. But yeah, so Taurus, so it's really about like leaning into the now. Every day being grateful, every day, doing things with your hands, going out into the woods, hike, um, nature, and just, really, really just really, really like, yeah, being in your like being comfortable in your own body, Because Taurus rising is like they're like they sometimes depend too much on other people to take the initiative. And that's another thing about lacking air is that it can be difficult for you to go and find your passion and make the moves. Like people who lack fire, like they need to really like and yeah, you have air, so that's good, right? Because air is masculine too, so that can kind of make up for some of that. But lacking fire is that passion. It's like, okay, I have a lot of fire. I'm sorry I'm using myself as an example, just easy. Like, let's say I wake up tomorrow, I'm like, I want to learn Russian. Already would have had paid the fucking thing on the app. I would do all the research and I'd be starting by within an hour, right? People like my brother, for example, who lack fire, it's like he's had this like his first car that he hasn't sold in 2 years. It's just been sitting around losing value. Like it's always, I'll do it later, I'll do it later. But once you find something that you're passionate about, you can really follow through. But I think having yeah, it kind of is like slow and steady wins the race with Taurus rising, and there's like a big motivation towards security. So that kind of clashes. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, yeah, it kind of clashes with the Aquarius at least, and the Gemini, because that's those two parts of you which are the most important are very dynamic all over the place. The Taurus rising, it gives you the appearance to other people you meet of this very laid back, chill person, but then like you are very the shadow of that would be being all over the place. The shadow of Taurus would be being stubborn. And Aquarius can be very stubborn too, especially when it comes to like ideas and just yeah. So just being very open minded, right? But also yeah, like follow your North Node Taurus. Take things slow. Every day wake up, have a routine, have a gratitude routine. Think of new things you're grateful for. Think of new, you know, what do you want to do? How are you going to do it? What's your routine? If you're hurried, you're not going to do good work. You're not like, so it really is important to just be and exist. And escaping the comfort zone is very, but actually, it's this mix between escaping the comfort zone and then also having it. Because Taurus North Node, it's like don't push it too much, right? Like be chill, like be comfortable in your life. But yeah, with the love stuff, yeah, like Gemini Moon, they need variety, they need change. Sometimes there are people who are like, they'll break up with someone if they don't have the intellectual connection. Um, and Juno and Leo, they, fourth house, they want that person to feel like a metaphoric home. And they also, you know, they also are very, very much, you know, let's see, wait, has this been? Oh, my microphone speaker doesn't work tonight. Let's see. I'm over here. Over here. Over here. Oh hell no! Wait, it did not switch to my microphone speaker. My headset speaker. Wait, there's no chance. No, because I didn't. No, because I just plugged it in. Yeah. Wait. Yeah, because I would have had to bring it downstairs. I didn't bring it downstairs. Wait, how is this making any sense right now? Well, hopefully the last few minutes weren't choppy, but I definitely did not. Yeah, I did. I wish I could go back and see. Let me think. Did I have my microphone downstairs? I don't think I was carrying all these. I do a lot of things just like unconsciously, like I'll just do them. I didn't even realize I do that because it's a real tech.
I think it was probably just on my computer speed or whatever. If somehow stuff got skipped over, I'll just um you just have to tell me, and I would just do a video or a short video where I basically like say also there's like a just so you something I don't know how to do it, but there's a transcript. I know I don't know how I forget how your English is. I know it's good, but there's a way on YouTube. Just search it. I can search it right now actually, where everything is transcribed. So you see like what I'm saying in writing. So it says navigate to, so just search on Google how to get YouTube transcript. It says navigate to YouTube and open the video. So you open the video, you locate and click the three horizontal dots below the video. They should be next to the share and save buttons. Clicking the dots pulls up a short menu. Click open transcript. Is that it? YouTube will generate the transcript to the side of the video. Note that transcripts aren't available on the mobile version of YouTube. These transcripts are generated from your YouTube caption file associated with videos. The YouTuber who posts a video will need to add professional captions to their YouTube video to get the most accurate transcripts. But yeah, still, it worked for my other client who's like a tech person. Okay, whatever. So we'll see what happens there. I'm so paranoid with the sound stuff because it had that it didn't work for like it was like very choppy. So I'm like just I don't know. I've just been using the microphone even though I prefer my headset. I'm gonna go back to microphone. Why is it not popping up? But yeah, so that's the thing, right? It's like over idealism and love, but just like the key is to
The key is to be rooted in uh, the key is to be rooted in in balance, you know. It's to be rooted in balance. And with the lack of fire, you really need to figure out, what are the things that really make me feel alive? What are the things that really make me feel like this is it? And following those, right? That's what's important. That's what's important. Um, so yeah, Gemini moon, what else can I say? Relationships like that grass is green on the other side type energy can be difficult. And um, there's definitely a big time need to learn compromise, but also boundaries, right? And to not be one of those people that's like in the Disney like movie type. And people don't like when I say this to them because I feel like everyone matures, past certain points in their life and have certain stages. It's like I could be talking to like the younger version of you. Oh, my technology went crazy. But yeah. So like the whole thing is that aspects, right? Hard aspects are meant to be turned into assets. So, that's key, right? And what I mean by that is that people sometimes get a fatalistic idea about, oh, I have, Sun square Neptune, which isn't even like, I mean, it's a tough one, but it's not like it's the end of the world. Um, but I didn't like most of this reading with this freaking sound, so whatever, I'm able to manage it. Um, yeah, so it might be something where like it feels more like it's speaking to like an older version of yourself. Just but like if that's true, that means that you've overcome it. And Sun Square Neptune, they yeah, it's like through creativity, through the arts and all that. But yeah, the partner is really important too. So obviously someone who can handle, you know, um like as Mars descendant people, sometimes they can come on too strong. Um Sometimes they can like have too much of their life force per se, or their like, their life energy, their spiritual energy, their prana, whatever you want to call it, sexual energy, um, diverted towards finding a partner. And then when you add Neptune Pisces to it, it could be like, oh, this person's perfect, but then when they figure out they're not, um, you know, it's no good. So, that's mega important, is to just understand that a lot of people with this, they have the potential tendency to try to find God within a partner, and we all know that that's not possible. Now, I must also gladly, happily say what I just noticed. You, my friend, have the royal star Antares or Aldebaran on your moon, same degree. Oof, that's a big one. Let's see how close it is. 0.42, so less than a degree, as I saw. So yeah, I mean that's very, very important. The royal stars, there's four of them. Spica is not a real star technically, but it might as well be one. It's kind of like there's five really great, prominent stars. There's a lot of really great stars, but yeah, I don't know how. I guess they have to have four: one for the north, north, one for the west, one for the east, one for the south. But yeah, Spica deserves to be on that Mount Rushmore of fixed stars. But yeah, so that's kind of like the vibe I'm getting. Like early, it's just like, with the love, someone who you can be proud of, who's proud of your relationship, who has a fun side, but also is able to get deep and really feel like that metaphoric home, right? And someone who you can build a home with. But Gemini moons, like I said, they need to be intellectually stimulated, and like they need to have freedom, so like did I already say this, that a lot of Gemini moons, um like they can be like polyamorous, or it could be like a kind of alternative thing with relationships. But like Juno fourth house, it's like, yeah, relationships are like providing like a firm foundation in your life. And also like family would be very important. um and just being very loyal to anyone that's sharing your home, and dedicated to like making things work. um and yeah, just like like wanting to have like lots of romance, lots of fun, maybe a shared sense of creativity, like what you guys are interested in, maybe like musically, I don't know. Because like with the Venus in Pisces, conjunct Mercury, that makes you a very sweet communicator. With Chiron with Venus, that makes you a gifted healer. It gives kind of like this deep innocence, right? Especially in relationships. So this one could be like another thing that makes one vulnerable to emotional pain. Um, but what it does, because yeah, it gives that childhood innocence, and um, you know, there can be like this deep fear of abandonment, which doesn't always come from like the childhood or the parents, but it can come from, like fear of rejection early on. Um, so yeah, like overall, um, it just makes someone really vulnerable. Um, yeah, really, really vulnerable to that kind of really deep pain, I guess you could say. Um, Hold on a second. Um, and it's usually like in the more early relationships, but it gets better with time. Um, Hold on just a moment, please. Um, okay, so yeah. But also it creates very deeply spiritual healing karmic relationships. Um, which is very significant to know about. The potential to, to have relationships where, yeah, overall they can bring a lot of pain early, but they can, um, lead to deep healing, relationships that are deeply healing, and also friendships that are deeply healing, and being friends with other healers, right? So a lot of times, you know, you can be like there can be like kind of like a teacher role in relationships where like you're the teacher in some way, not like a teacher in a class, but like where you're gifting someone lots of wisdom, or where they're doing it to you. Sometimes it's from experiences, and lots of healing. And it gives you the ability this also gives you the ability to really like be a great healer because you have this deep empathy and the ability to like really see people for who they are, for their highest potential. um and yeah, a lot of people with that, they can become like in their relationships, like yeah, like teachers, healers, and yeah, attract very healing, spiritually healing. It's the Pisces relationships that helps you get over your pain, right? Because Chiron and Pisces is, that's once again a difficulty around gaining your own sense of individuality. Who am I at any crisis, right? So relationships can kind of help you with that, but it really does all come down to self-love, right? That's what it is. Venus and Pisces, great placement, but there can be confusion around who that person is. Um, so being able to feel other people's pain. Um, so this is where it helps for you to have a lack of water, or what am I talking about? You have water. So yeah, you might actually like be a great healer, but maybe the like feeling the pain of others so deeply could be very, very difficult for you, very stressful. So there's a great need to learn like detachment. Like let's say you're a healer, you're helping someone, right? Being able to kind of like detach, and not take someone else's trauma with you. It's really, really important lesson, or else, it's like a surgeon can't be freaking out when he's doing the surgery. He has to be kind of cold blooded. So yeah. Um, but yeah, really, really being able like kind of like deep spiritual wounds here. And there could be some stuff, some issues with groups and friends. I mean, it kind of goes in a lot of different directions here with the whole groups of people and friends. You have Venus, Saturn, Mercury, Saturn, or Chiron. So it's like maybe there was like kind of like a betrayal or some issue that leads you to like really want to be very selective with your friend groups. But then also Venus there grants you good friends and friends where there's a spiritual connection. Mercury makes you really, really want to be talkative about your friends, and the fact that Pisces rules the 11th house, ruled by Neptune in the sixth. I mean the fifth, or what am I talking about? It's in the same. It's in that house. No, wait, I just saw it. What the fuck am I saying? Um, in the seventh. Um, there could be this interplay between like how good your relationships are going in your friendships, and it could also be the potential for like having like BFF relationships that are so deep that they're like kind of as deep as like a romantic relationship would be. But also it can carry the same risks with friends and with like groups of people, like the kind of over idealism and all that stuff that I was talking about. That same risk can be carried with friends. But Saturn 11th, usually the kind of friendship stuff opens up after 30, 31, so Saturn return. And then, it's full of blessings if you can find people who can vibe on that same level as you. Um, so yeah, I said you have Mercury. So okay, so Mercury opposite Uranus, that's gonna make someone feel quite misunderstood. Um, it makes someone a very original thinker. It's kind of like genius energy. They see outside the box. They don't just go with the consensus. And Mercury is opposed. So Venus and Mercury are opposing Neptune or Uranus and Pluto. So you know, basically with and so okay. So first together, right? That creates a smooth speaker, someone who has a certain amount of like self-expression with beauty, someone who enjoys talking with people, very good listener, good balance of talking and listening, of really actually hearing people. Some people just wait for their turn. You definitely do not do that. um and yeah, like it could be very gifted at writing and creative talents as well. And uh yeah, just a gifted communicator. And then with the Chiron there, someone who might be able to communicate their pain in a way that gets through to people. So lots of like you know potential for that, right? um but there's lots of other aspects. But also with the Mercury Chiron, there could be like, and with Venus Chiron, there could be like really like kind of, and this goes to the Mercury opposite Uranus and Pluto, like how like early schooling could have been difficult for you. um Mercury in Pisces already, they're abstract, right brained, and in the education system it's very, very different, right? It's like, it's very Capricornian, very logical. So you'd be way better when it comes to art, and you're already very rebellious. And so yeah, that could have been a pain for you, like trying to like work in a system that just doesn't work for you, which could have led to this pain of feeling like there's something wrong with your way of thinking, with your way of communicating with others, thinking you weren't as intelligent as other people. But then this proves that you were just ahead of your time and thinking outside the box. Because everyone I meet, I get so many clients that are Mercury, Uranus, square, conjunction, opposition. And the opposition can be difficult. But over time you start to see, okay, shit, I'm not crazy. Um, I am very, very, very smart. I just think in the future. I think I'm inventive. I think outside the box. I don't just believe what I'm told. It's also great for being a good listener, taking in other people's information. Gemini moon's good. Curious. And you have it on one of, if not the best star in astrology. So it's very good for like being like a counselor, teacher, anything like that, right? And definitely Mercury conjunct Chiron is the person that people come to. Venus conjunct Chiron when they have a level of pain, when they're feeling pain. But then you have Venus with Saturn. So that person is, you know, uh, a lot of times it's like after 30 that they have their best relationships. There's like lots of karmic, there's like a fear of commitment, lots of karmic, lessons around relationships, but they, sometimes like they either want to be in control of the partner, or like they become very, they choose a partner that controls them. And it's just really important to, and it comes from like, it's all about self-love. And Venus with Saturn, it can kind of push some of that back. But yeah, so it can make one feel like inadequate, not good enough, um, have difficulty with like expressing love and all that, being vulnerable. But it makes them super loyal, super faithful, and long term, this is one of the best aspects for marriage because it creates karmic relationships where, you know, um, during hard times, Saturn, Venus, it's like the glue that keeps relationships together. So that's that. So now with the oppositions, right? So so let's start. So with Mercury opposite Uranus, I kind of went into that already. The only issue is that there can be a tendency to kind of throw your very original kind of, you might not, as an Aquarius, not see how outside the box they are, your ideas on other people, like throwing them on other people, and just like defending your right to have like a different point of view, and not like this is probably when younger, like just like kind of, I say you're a great listener, but maybe that was something that was really gained. So it's really about learning respect for like all forms of communication, all forms of thinking, understand that everyone has, their own point in time when they learn, when they kind of come to truth, like someone's making fun of astrology. Cool, well, it doesn't change the fact that astrology runs everything, Um, but it gives like a lightning fast, brilliant intellect. That's why I can speak fast with you. Like honestly, you could be a genius. Like a lot of people with this, like it's one of the highest intelligent Mercury Uranus. And Uranus rules the future, so it can make someone who's able to like see the future, like potentially, right? So that's something you need to work on, like meditating and trying to like see if you can be correct about stuff like that. But it makes someone who can be kind of argumentative and also anxious. Gemini moon also can be anxious. But because you can have like this really original form of thinking, you can like discover new ways of doing things and just discover new things. Also, the internet could be really, really good for you because it rules the internet. Um, but the key is to listen to others and not just instinctively like take the opposition, right? Um, but yeah, and a lot of people with that will like kind of like more eccentric, kind of unusual types of people. And people who can really provide that intellectual stimulation, as it was saying earlier, friends and lovers. Also, when it comes to like any kind of like contract, make sure that you really, really check the fine print on any documents. Um, and also a really random one that you're not gonna hear anywhere else is like to, like for your car, make sure that you're servicing it. That you're servicing it, you know, that you're making sure that everything is not is good with your car. Mercury, rules like short distance travel, and Uranus can cause, these but also Mercury Uranus can, when they can when they can calm their mind down, which Mercury and Taurus can be quite calm and logical, they can receive downloads. So meditate, meditate, meditate. So okay, then Mercury opposite Pluto. I see that. I saw the other day. That's just like people need to learn diplomacy who have that. They can get in lots of arguments. They can defend, and like they can get in like have like very negative thoughts. They can be like linked to depression or just like having like a like dark thoughts and ideas. But the more that they're able to kind of like, and they can communicate those ideas in a way that can lead to conflict, um, like just throwing like really intense energy and getting kind of argumentative, and that also goes to your Mars line descendant. So it's just like a really intense, like it's another great sign of intelligence, right? Where it's like a really intense inner nature to want to really go deep within things, and that goes with your Mars in Scorpio also, right? The desire to like deeply psychological to understand how things are, like really seeing every human as a deeply complex person. Everything in the world is complex. Um, Unwilling to take things at face value that you hear on the news or you know opinions of other people. Like you want to, it's a very inquiring mind that needs to go deep, 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 find the truth for yourself, right? Um, the problem is that you might be super passionate, but not everyone else has that degree of seriousness, or even interest in what you're maybe talking about or anything like that. So, I said you have the ability to be small talky, but not too much because like um, there can be a difficulty in connecting with people because you can be kind of turned off by their level of like not wanting to go deep. So pick your people wisely. And it can even be like early on, like not trauma, yeah, like something like that, where people feel insecure because they're not willing to go as deep in terms of their thinking as you are. Um, some people with this really struggle with people who like they have very strong opinions, so they can get in lots of arguments defending them. So it's really important to listen to other people, right? Um, and just becoming very aware of your communication style. So you lack fire, so that's good for not coming across too like crazy, like just like um like I said, tons of intelligence. So it's just about being aware that you have this. First step is self-awareness. Um and yeah, kind of transforming that communication style and understand that your thoughts and your beliefs and your worldview is also going to go through this kind of death rebirth transformation. And Venus opposite Pluto. Well, actually, what else can I say about Mercury opposite Pluto? Yeah, just that like kind of just throwing your ideas like say you get really into astrology, right? Just like throwing it on other people, right? So yeah, just really knowing that people aren't always down to hear that. Um, so it can make them feel, less intelligent. Um, so what did I see? Also, you have one of the best aspects in astrology, Venus trine um Jupiter. So that just brings like luck and money, luck and love, just like a lot of talent in those two houses. So, when it comes to like manifest your life goals and also with communication. So you're a gifted communicator, but like it's just about refining that. And because it's in, yeah. So the fact that you have Mercury in yeah, very abstract minded. And I think that would kind of dim down some of what I was just talking about with the Pluto, the fact that Mercury is in Pisces. I think that Mercury and Pisces, sometimes there can be a mental confusion. So it's important for them to, bridge the gap between physical and metaphysical, between logic. I said you have Mercury and Taurus. I misspoke. Excuse me. You have Ascendant in Taurus, North Node. Yeah, Venus trine Jupiter just like gives like very popular energy, very good aura, larger than life kind of energy, great aura, great aura, great aura, and really, really good at like kind of like making people feel good when they come around your presence. Um, so let's see here. So many aspects. Holy shit. Yeah, so overall, Venus opposite you're okay, yeah. So then you have Venus with Saturn. I talked about that already. Like shy in relationships, but yeah, able to really, really make it work in the long run and all that other stuff I said. Sometimes people with that, like one parent was like too strict early on. And but like I don't see that in your chart, but it could have been. But yeah, I mean you'd say in the email, but yeah, like even like with like controlling, like maybe like the father like being like controlling or something like that. Because like, and maybe one of the parents, like maybe the father like out of the picture potentially, or like not or very or maybe weak or a weak influence on your life. Yeah, it's hard to tell. But um Yeah, because like you do have this square between sun and moon. It's not. It's a loose square, so maybe the parents are divorced. I'm not sure. Big maybe on that one. Big maybe because they're both in air signs, but there is like only a yeah. I don't know. I would kind of take that one back check on that a little bit. But if I'm right, that'd be cool. Okay, so Venus is so heavily aspected, so self love is not easy, but after 30, 31, it gets easier. So okay, Venus opposite Uranus, adding to the whole love stuff, right? This it's 0.002, like that's how close this is to 180 degree, right? It's exactly 180 degrees. It's that being torn between that like need to be loved and intimate relationships, closeness, all that, and being in your independence, what I've been talking about, right? Um, so like in relationships, like there can be like a fear of being like in committed relationships. Um, so it's really about finding that balance between in relationships, having like for example, I sleep in my own bedroom. I have my own space. That's something that might be, very like something along those lines could be very good for you as a Gemini moon, and with this aspect, right? Venus Uranus people are unconventional in the way that they abort relationships. Now Venus Pluto, that's a really difficult one. Some people call it. I need to put in my charger. Like that can be linked. Like some people call that the self hate potential. Everything's potential. Um, like just being very like people with that they often like there can be stalkers. um they have like a very tumultuous love life, and sometimes they meet their own shadow. Oftentimes they meet their own shadow, their darker side within their relationship life. So it makes it extra hard, like very drama, so drama plays out a lot in the relationships. um Little things can tip that person off. um and yeah, there can be that obsession with the concept and the idea of love as that saving grace. um and kind of like high expectations in relationships, and expecting others to kind of share that same intensity, right? And moving too fast. So a lot of times the lowest vibe of Venus opposite Pluto is kind of like the person being either like attracting very dark people, which represent like the unhealed part of them, right? So it's very karmic. I have Venus square Pluto, by the way, so I went through this a lot early on. um but yeah, like they just love really intensely, and it kind of takes over their life until they get to a certain evolutionary point. um very instant attractions, very karmic attractions, drawn to some people like super intensely. Very, yeah, like it can be very taboo, dark, sexy kind of energy. But then it can, yeah, it can be like followed by like jealousy, possessiveness, manipulation. Like if there's like abandonment issues, especially, like the person can like have all kinds of like submersive, what's the word? Submersive. Uh, is it subversives or submersive? Just bad, like kind of like manipulative tactics to keep that person under control. And they can just be obsessed with the partner and with the idea of love, like I said, and just react super emotionally. But it eventually catches up with you if you, yeah. But I mean, like eventually someone does come along, who matches that level of infatuation, and things work out karmically. But there's usually some pretty difficult early lessons. But it's really important for the power to be shared, and not to have this power struggle of going back and forth, and like it's not healthy, right? Um, but you learn to let go through your relationships. You learn to surrender and not hold on so tight. And a lot of times it takes several really difficult, painful relationships to learn that, because like trying to control anyone, that does not work, right? Um, so, but like also not letting yourself get manipulated, because we talked about the Neptune square earlier on, because it can go both ways, right? Being taken advantage of in love, abused, and saying like, oh, it's just a twin flame journey, blah blah blah. I'm not saying that's you. I'm just saying that's a potential. Like, no, no, it's not. Abuse is unacceptable. What else? A lot of girls I know who have this, like they dated drug dealers or criminals or just bad people. And yeah, they learn a lot about like the darker side of humanity through those relationships. But it's really, yeah, through that travel into your own internal underworld where you unlock that wisdom. But because it's an opposition, uh, if it's not done within, it can be from external events, right? So meditation, astrology, all these types of things, like getting in with your psychic ability, that's how you really heal it, right? The awareness is what is a step of healing anything. Um, okay. So yeah, so obviously that's a lot of heavy stuff. It's really important to have like a creative pursuit once again, and for your life to have balance and meaning. When you have that meaning in your life, suddenly relationships, they don't they're not unimportant, but you figure, okay, like I could lose my relationship, right? You can like, if your life has no meaning, you have no purpose, right? Higher purpose. Um Relationship is everything. You're like, if I lose this, I'm nothing. What's my identity? But when you start to help people, or if I have like a profession or something where where your Aquarius self, which is, very humanitarian, is really, really feeling like that, like it's adding value to the world. That's when you're like, okay, it would suck. I love this person to lose the relationship, but I still have me. I still have what I'm doing for other people. Then there's no way you can lose. But yeah, very, very unique kind of way of loving, intellectual stimulation, conversation, someone who's has similar interests, or not interests, like similar kind of like worldview, um, and if not, like someone who can respect and where you guys can learn from each other. Very healing relationships, to someone who's willing to go into healing, and yeah, just like learning to like kind of play with that interplay between like the Pisces closeness and the Uranian Aquarius like aloofness and distance that can come up. Okay, so Mars is only trying the sun. That's a nice one. So when I said you lack fire, you do, but Mars and Scorpio trine sun is super powerful. That does give a lot of confidence, and it makes up for some of that lack of fire. Um, it gives a lot of energy for achieving goals. So this actually like really, 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 really is a needed part of your chart. I'm so happy you have it. Um, Also, since it's with your south node, you could have been a warrior in a past life, or just, yeah, just someone who really fought for the truth, right? Um, so also Sunshine Mars are great leaders, great leaders. And your midheaven and Capricorn, it's boss energy. It's close enough to Vega, so there's definitely some lucky stars you have. We'll get into those in a sec. So moving forward, your Mars and Scorpio, like I said, that just gives strong desires. Is my camera fucked up? Yeah, very strong desires. The passionate spiritual warrior, they're usually pretty dramatic. I met some that aren't, but yeah, very strong sexual urges. And there's so much more I could say. I think I said enough already. But yeah, also with relationship, seventh house, like strong drive towards relationship, and it kind of goes with this back and forth. But then when you're in them, wanting to keep your independence, right? So it's that same thing that keeps coming up and over. And then you also have Vesta in the seventh house, so that makes someone who, is very focused on intimate relationships. Um, dedicated when they're in their relationships to like work on themselves. Um, like for example, like going to therapy if things aren't working out. and they can be very fixated on like one person. Um, best though when it comes to work, it's just like someone who can become obsessed with their work, um, and very dedicated and all that stuff, right? Also, when it comes to sexuality, like lots of morality in that realm. Um, yeah, like very, very ethically strong around sexuality and just in general, and just around any kind of partnership or relationship. But yeah, Neptune can give you, yeah, a very distorted view of who you're with. So it's very important to like really, 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 really like talk into the camera. Take your phone, film yourself. If you're in a partnership or you meet someone or whatever, talk to yourself. Say, okay, this is who I'm with. What are if there's red flags? It's really, really important for you to see them and notice them and jump on them. Okay, so vertex. Let's go around right now. See what we haven't touched. So yeah, like the North Node, first house. Obviously, I said, um, you're here, it's okay for you to be selfish in this lifetime. You're here to deal with change, allowing change, finding creative outlets for your those intense emotions, um and kind of like, yeah, just healing your soul. You might not know where your like difficulty comes from, but just healing your soul, because there could have been past life wounds around being cheated, about being betrayed. So yeah, like, yeah. So yeah, the life lesson is really about trusting the process of change, surrender, and finding that sense of stability and peace within yourself. And really also the life purpose is about around finding that identity. Your single identity. You don't have to be single to find it, but past life habits of submerging yourself into other people, and finding that balance between like, um being assertive and asserting your needs and giving to others. So we went over that. So okay, Sirius second house. Yeah, you feel like you get nurtured by information and by conversation and by people close to you when they share their thoughts with you and their feelings. Just really like enjoying communicating, with loved ones. And you don't like when others refuse to talk. Yeah, you have your moments, but I think with the double air, it's safe to say that you probably communicate. And then like with Mercury in Pisces, it's like I said, it's like potentially psychic, like very, very poetic. I would not be surprised if you're a poet or someone that wrote poetry or just some kind of beautiful writing. um yeah. Also, beware of becoming like overly attached to material goods with the second house of the Moon series for sure. Um, Always think about the physical versus the metaphysical value. So okay, so Jupiter in the third, I already talked about that, but it's in Cancer. So people with Jupiter in Cancer usually like want to have like a big family. Um, they really want a strong like urge to look after their loved ones. And because of your chart, I would group friends into family. Um, and people Jupiter in Cancer, they can like literally feel like the world is their family, like really connected to other people, and that deep kind of unconditional love. And yeah, third house, being able to really be a deep thinker, a great talker, um, lots of people you can communicate with, inspire, teach. And so, third house Jupiter people are always trying to expand their mind. But once again, watch out for not taking too many. I mean, yes, it takes trial and error to find out what you're great at, what you want to do, right? But like not too much this, like that's good. But when you find things you love, you focus on them, right? So part of fortune in the fourth house, that's nice. That's kind of like your flow state. That's like where like a part of your chart where just everything is really, really good. And that's like, when you have a spiritual relationship with yourself, when you're going deep, you're introspective and so forth. And in Leo, when you're in touch with your inner child, in touch with your inner self and in touch with your kind of like funny, like just like flowy, letting things flow inner child, right? When you truly feel like you're living as an example to other people. Um, but yeah, it's really important to avoid distractions, which can come in many different shapes and forms. So fifth house Pluto, I'm gonna connect.
So fifth house Pluto. So fifth house Pluto people. I guess I can just share this. Right. I need to. Fifth house Pluto people. Let's see. 17. Yeah, so they definitely like they definitely feel like their life has like a very deep creative. So it makes perfect sense with the rest of your chart. Mika, 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 food. Esmond, you better not call me foodaholic. Esmond, no. Esmond, I'm putting you higher up. Esmond, 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 Esmond. You're not eating right now. You're a foodaholic. You stay right there and you do not touch the food. I'm gonna really try on this diet for you, Esmond. I'm really gonna try because you're so overweight. 4.2 kilograms, unbelievable. For a super small cat. So yeah, Pluto fifth house people, like, they're here to have a creative purpose. They're here to find their authentic self. They're here to be their inner child. Um, so yeah, they feel since birth like, there's some special creative purpose for me being here, right? And that goes with the rest of your chart because you're held back from finding yourself in past lives. I have so many clients that come to me with this type of message where it's like, find yourself. There's a sense of destiny, of creative destiny, right? Um, so because like in past lifetimes, this development, this creative development was sidelined, right? So you have to, whatever creative urges you have, follow that shit. I mean that, follow it. I don't care about, let's see, you're born in 67. I don't care. I literally do not care. Like, you have a lot of 11th house energy right here. People with a lot of 11th house energy, a lot of times, like, they're meant to do stuff in the later, like, kind of like when they're older, right? It's like things that take a lifetime to develop. Um, so yeah, the player point 11th, it's just like, hmm, how would I phrase that? Yeah, just take that need to express yourself creatively. I don't know how else to say it. And I guess I can go back to, I did an hour 34 with the sound, so, and no music. Um, yeah, so Pluto fifth house, yeah, just like this powerful urge to express yourself creatively, and sometimes you have to watch out for like this like potential obsessive need for attention. Um, Black Moon Lilith and Aries also, you know, watching out for, like, when I talk about like the giving and taking, you have a lot of aspects that show that you would be someone that's good at the giving, but just making sure that there's a balance between the giving and taking energetically. Um, yeah, so then Uranus is right there. Um, would it be in the, it could be in the sixth house in Placidus, so we'll talk about both. But in the fifth house, Uranus, it just gives like very, very um unusual hobbies, like things that you're interested in are very unusual. Look at my new football shirt. Like for me, I have fifth house Uranus and in Placidus, and I just am, it's like the things that I like. I'm obsessed with football shirts. I have a collection, and give me a lifelong connect collection, and that's just a random thing. But like it's just like, very futuristic. You might be into technology, potentially. Not saying you are, but like it makes you very creative in terms of like your creative ideas, artistic ideas. Um, it could give very, very kind of original and unconventional children. And Pluto with children, it can make one have like potentially like becoming overly dominant with their children, or just have very, very intense children, like transformative children. Okay, Vertex 6 House Libra, your doorway to higher awareness is through finding balance in your life, balance in your relationships. So, like very destined relationships, and they can last an hour, they can last 20 years. Um, be good or be bad, but they're meant to teach you, as I told you, your Venus and Chiron. Even business partners or people you work with, like as clients, if you're doing something like I'm doing or similar, right? If you have, clients or whatever. And sometimes like the people can be so different that you're like, how the fuck am I with this person? But they're meant to teach you a lesson, right? Um, and it can really show you like ways of seeing the world that you like could never have dreamed of it, like just so much stuff, right? And yeah, this can be connected to like AI and robotics and just technology. I said that before, the Uranus. Um, yeah. So during times of need, it could be people who have like Libra in their chart, um, who come to your aid, or who just have strong Venus. Anti-vertex in Aries, um, you're drawn to people who really motivate you to follow your dreams, to not listen to haters, to do your own thing, independence. So yeah. Also at important times in your life, yeah, as I was saying, it is the Libras, or the Venus. So Venus is like Taurus and Libra, right? Who help you with that, and yeah, lead to like higher awareness. So Uranus in the sixth, right? So I'm in the same thing, fifth, sixth. Also retrograde for both of them. So like, there's past life trauma for sure. Um, and um, Uranus six, there's a failure, and a lot of people have this, like 40% or something, right? So it's not like a big thing, but like it does matter, and it's like in past lives you like like with your whole like individualization, becoming your true authentic self, the not conditioned self, the self that's you with no other like media or schooling, like not like just really finding you, that was pushed away, right? That was sidelined, as we've talked about before. You see how I meld everything together, how I take different parts of the chart. Um, like no one can do what I can do. Like I'm literally like taking this from here, this from like the first 10 minutes, and I'm making a puzzle. You can watch this 15 times and you'll find new things each time. I just make it look easy, but this is not, right? Because Uranus retrograde is um basically it creates that kind of difficulty in expressing your inner individuality, right? So in previous lifetimes that was pushed away. Um so you're basically, you know, I've said it a million times, you're here to learn who you are, and that's why your chart's the way it is. Pluto retro. Um, hmm. I mean, the cool thing about that is that there can be like a carryover of psychic powers from previous lifetimes, but you're supposed to use these in constructive ways only, right? Um, and you can really feel the struggle humanity is going through, like deep within yourself. Like sometimes you feel like humanity's struggle is your struggle. Um, You feel like responsible for like lifting people up, the collective consciousness. Um, so yeah, there's almost like a karmic debt owed to humanity when you have that. Um, and because it's in Virgo, I think it's about service. And that it's paid through through selfless service to humanity. That's how you pay off the Pluto retrograde. Um, yeah, karma. So it makes tremendous spiritual growth possible, where you can literally rise above your karma and the karma of like the general human race. And it's so huge. Like it's like, and I got this download. Like it's like stepping off like the wheel of rebirth and reincarnation type energy if you do it right. Um, so it's like living in your world, but still remaining, or I keep saying things wrong. Living in the material world, but still having one foot in the spiritual, you know, remaining separate from it in some ways. And you have Jupiter retrograde too. I might as well just continue with those. That makes one like very internally philosophical. Um, so I like Jupiter retrograde. It turns like the expansive energy inwards. Lots of inner growth takes place. Lots of usually it's like spiritual oriented studies, or just like philosophy. But sometimes there can be like a overly over like planning, replanning, and yeah. So there is like the opportunity for like this very highly spiritual incarnation. But you have to seek your own truth, as I continue to tell you. The status quo is not going to be good for you. And it just creates a free spirit. Um, but yeah, like there can be like lots of deja vus, and you can really feel at home. Also, like traveling, you can feel like these karmic places, like feeling very at home in different places, anywhere really. And you have Jupiter in the fourth house, so yeah, you really want to like have like this deep rooted home. Okay, so back to what I was saying. Vertex in the sixth, yeah, your doorway to higher awareness is to service humanity. And Libra can be the counselor, or the person who brings two parties together. Okay, we talked about this, talked about this, talked about this, talked about this, blah 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 blah. Midheaven in Capricorn, so Saturn is ruling your midheaven, which is like your dharma, your career, the ninth house. So you want to learn about truth, about your truth through your career, through your dharma. It's not just career; it's like through your outer life, what you do. 10th house, Sun, so that makes like career, outer life really really important to your soul's intention. So you're not here to hide away; you're here to really show yourself. Um, and first house north node makes that more clear that you're meant to do things for the world. You're not meant to hide away and be behind the scenes. You're meant to be you know out there. um so yeah, like Saturn, where was it again? It was the 11th. Let me calculate. Or yeah, so basically like you could have a really really important mission that comes later in life, um where it's really really important for you to feel like you're helping people, and through the helping people, um and it's in Pisces, so it's like, yeah, there's the compassion piece. And it's so crazy that it's ruling your midheaven, and it's 28 Pisces, which is my sun and my Mercury, so it's like I'm meant to tell you this message. I don't know. I think that like finding like a soul group. By the way, I'm not gonna say anything, but like I highly suggest that you get the current astrology reading from me. I think I forget if you got the follow up and the reading, but I highly highly suggest that you add the current. So we have a 3 hour session together, and yeah, we'll see. What can happen? Miracles can happen. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, like with Saturn ruling your midheaven, I think that just makes you like someone who's responsible for, and who wants to really really like elevate people spiritually, elevate themselves spiritually, have compassion involved in their career, but also you want to be doing something that's useful. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's money It's we'll see what with the stars thing. It's by Vega, so there's something there. Um, okay, Mercury in Pisces. Like I said before, super high intuition, amazing imagination, dream life is crazy. You have to watch out for spending too much time with other people also, because you can tune into their thoughts and start to take them for your own. And there can be difficulty distinguishing like fact from or imagination from reality. So it's really important to like disappear sometimes. Like, and people give people with Pisces placement shit. Like, I disappear sometimes, um, into your dream world, into like your little world before being pulled back to reality. Like, I just won't answer my phone. That's like the necessities sometimes, right? You see me in my DMs, it's just hard for me. But you do your best. That's all you can say. And yeah, just being a part of like groups with common beliefs. I don't know why I thought of a book club. I don't know if that's what the move is, but like spiritual groups, whatever it is, like that's really important to like speak your ideas with like-minded people. We talked about that. Yeah. Um, Also another Venus and Pisces thing is that they love uh like go see concerts and do kind of like artistic, spiritual things with their partner. Um, yeah. But then yeah, Chiron 11th, like maybe like early, like I said, early on, like pain felt in groups, but then like it's good for you to be friends with other wounded healers, other chironic people, but also just tons of different people. I think there's a huge range of people that you can be friends with. And Saturn, as I said before, it's Saturn Pisces, it just gives someone like yeah, it makes you want to be like a very compassionate worker, intuitive worker. Um, but it can bring up kind of some anxiety and some fears. But also, there's just like anyone with Pisces, Saturn has very strong karma to work through in this lifetime. And it kind of goes back to like this, maybe it's your last or one of your last incarnations. I'm not sure, because like you went through a lot of hard shit in the last one. This one you're trying to find peace, but also in a lot of themes. I'm talking so many themes, right? We're just about done. Okay, Black Moon Lilith. That's in Palace. So yeah, Palace is in Aries. That's where I have mine. So it's the same as mine. So just like a very rebellious, like very sharp intellect. The Taurus rising might make people think that you're slower than you are, more chill because you have like the chill energy, outer. But you're fucking on it. You are on it, and you think outside the box. You see through people, all that stuff. Um, so yeah, like someone who can come with like all kinds of new like very independent thinker, new ideas and follow through on them and take risks with their ideas and actually put them into action. And then like 12th house palace people, it's like open third eye, like someone who can like innately understand spiritual teachings and just like lots of spiritual wisdom. Okay, Black Moon Lilith. So 12th house in Aries. This is not a part of your chart. This is you at your lowest vibration. We all have one of these. I think Black Widow Aries. So the thing is that the key is to see it and then turn around. It's interesting to me because you don't have any fire in your chart. Um, but usually Black Widow Lilith Aries people, there can be like a fear of being unworthy, where they judge their own performance and achievements. Um, like they attach too much of their like their worth to that, which can come from the parents, um and lack of self-esteem, like basically like the idea like I need to achieve a lot in order to be worthy of love and happiness. So people, yeah, so it's just about like that journey within, and convincing yourself that no one is better than you, no one needs to achieve anything in order to have happiness, so also one way I see it is like usually Black militaries people like they might not be aware of the impact they have because they can be very very fiery and like have an impact, and maybe that's the Mars and Scorpio. Like they can be like unaware of like how fiery they are and how they can lash out at people sometimes. And yeah, Like no, it's like the very fiery person that like doesn't understand how their subtle energy like affects more people. But like I'm not sure how that works with you. Um, like it can be like yeah, overly asserting one's um self in situations. But I don't know, it doesn't really resonate with the rest of your chart. But maybe there's a part of you that has that. Um, yeah, and a lot of yeah, it's just like people who don't realize the extent to which they're asserting themselves or asking for things. And all, but another thing is that it can be about being overly childish. Um, and like being like passive aggressive and getting their own way, you know? So yeah, and it's ruled by Mars and Scorpio. So yeah, it could be connected to that. Maybe it comes out in relationships. So 12th house, Black Moon Lilith, that just speaks about like deep pain. It's on such a deep level. That you have to really go deep into yourself. And also it's the potential for like running away from reality, escapism. When and it's just like you know, it's important to deal with things head on, right? And not just going to the imaginary world when things get tough. Um, Also, what else can I say? I think there can be like a potential to dive too deeply into certain matters, certain subjects. Um, and that can get you into some trouble. Uh, it's like focusing, like going, like it's the person that just like studies like really dark subjects potential all the time. It's important to like focus on like the lighter matters too, having that balance between light and dark, right? Um, so yeah, just getting lost in the imaginary world is a big one there. My eyes are getting a little bit itchy from the computer screen being so bright, which I could literally turn down. Yeah, so it's really about learning self-discipline, I would say overall. Okay, let's finally look at the stars and asteroids that are, let's do it. I'm going to show you what it looks like really quick, just so you can kind of get an idea and wonder how, Jesse, how in the fucking world do you see like all these things jumbled up? Like, how do you see that, right? I don't want to block the whole screen for you. So, it's a good question. I guess I've gotten good at it, but okay. So obviously Aldebaran on the moon, ascendant. 20. It's yeah, 3 degrees is too much. Um, so then let's see. 17. Okay, no, it's too far. What is that, by the way, though? So Serpentis on Pluto, I would just say like just don't like the dark side of Scorpio, everything I talked about earlier, like the manipulation, the power struggles, all that, like just don't like just really, really do the transformative work or like you can fall into that. Um mhm. Past life witch. You're potentially a witch in the past life. Vega, yeah, Vega. Vega's pretty close actually. exactly a degree apart. Okay. So I think you've seen enough. All right. So 2 hours again. Okay, so we have Vega. Of course we have the amazing Aldebaran. I'm going above and beyond for you, my friend. Above and beyond. Every other astrologer would be doing a 1 hour right when it hits 60 minutes. Okay, time is up. And I'm just checking. Okay, so you want the follow-up I offered you for 90 and the follow and current for 340. Yeah, that's fine. That's like the lowest I can possibly go. But yeah, we that's not like a long wait. So if you're able to do that, take as much time. Most people have to watch this multiple times. First time you just watch it. Second time, after that, you take notes. You have to study, right? Okay. So let's continue this. Sorry, I keep blinking. And, 25, 23, 22. Oh, wait, hold up. I need to look something up because I've not known this for a while. So you have child, which is about our inner child on Jupiter. So that would talk about someone who's really able to express their inner child. Eyes are just, I need to get F.lux. It's this amazing app that makes the eye train. I'm a bit on now. I don't know if it'll change for you, but it like kind of adds like more of a red hue to the screen. Why wasn't that red? It's not reduce eye strain. No, I want even more. Handle. What's the red one? Halogen. Ooh, fluorescent. I like halogen. Oh, wait, are these just. Oh, I'm so stupid. These are just different phases. No, whatever. Let's just. Oh, yes. Okay. Oh my God. Holy shit. Look what it just did. Oh my god, that's kind of cool. The problem is I can't really see anything, or I kind of can. So yeah, I mean, like usually, like like Jupiter with child, like I don't really put that much into child, but that would I don't know, that would speak of like an expansive childhood in some way, where there's like this pure kind of raw innocence. Um, yeah, just that's a good one for childhood, from like learning a lot in that period. Okay, back to what I was looking at. I need to get out of this mode. I literally just cannot see very well. Let's go into vignette mode. No, let's go into soft white. Oh, that's nice. Okay. The best one is Himalayan salt lamp. You can download it for free. Just search f.lux. It's really good for eye strain. If you're looking at a computer, it's for phone too, I think. Pretty sure. Oh, so there's not just, wait, hold up. There's 699. Okay. That one's just there. Okay, Saturn, there's nothing. Um, there's one here. So Markab with Venus. Fortuna on your sun. That's like, I don't know that much about that one. I don't think it's like that serious. I mean, that well studied on either way. But some people say it has to do with like fortune, and if it's on your sun that you'll be rich, which could be the case because you have, but stars are way more, important than astros like that. Still hurts. Okay, so what's this? Mm-mm. Okay, so we'll see what we get. So okay, so first of all, Aldebaran, the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Aldebaran. Um, so some say it's the most famous star. Um, is very, very lucky. It is good for everything from money to wits, to intelligence to um, you know, just being liked, great for business people, good for romance. You know, it is very, very lucky luck. But luck doesn't exist, so good fortune is like the key word, you know. Good things just happen to people with Aldebaran. Very diplomatic too. Um, and it's linked with money. But also art. So let's see what it says. Aldebaran moon. Let me just see. So favorable for business, honor and credit, especially if it's in the first or the 10th house. Second house is the house of money, or one of the houses of money though, so it has to be good for that too. But danger of calamity, favorable for domestic, public, and religious / spiritual matters. There could be a weakness for the opposite sex. Libido, the bull's raging libido. This lust, if not reined in, can bring the subject's downfall. If I would have had this F.lux on the whole reading, my eyes would be fine. The mother, so some people just like had like their mother die when they're young, like suddenly. Um, and there's yeah, a great need for like love and affection. Okay, here it says, yeah, it's the one who follows the Pleiades. Um, it's right in the eye of the bull of the Taurus constellation. So yeah, lots of energy, someone who's ahead of other people, great for leaders. Okay, you have to watch out. Like I wouldn't drink if I were you. I would just yeah, be very, very sensitive to any kind of like drugs, medicine. It's not anything inside, just it's just yeah, it's just important to kind of like yeah. Okay, and let's see what it says here. These are like cherries on top, but this one's really important. Yeah, really good for business. Or we already saw that. Rich, yeah, a lot of Aldebaran people are very rich. A lot of times they come from money, not always. Fame is possible with that too, although it's not close enough. It probably need to be within 0.15. But you never know. There's people who are famous who have it not that far. But yeah, there's like what percent of the world is famous? So like I almost hate saying that the clients is just like, like you know, like there's such few famous people in the world. But yeah, there's different levels of fame and just people knowing who you are, right? Lots of like so like women like friends or whoever like playing a huge role in their success. Yeah, very, very sexual, lots of passion when we talking about that. Okay, so Vega on the MC is very much about it's a good one for just it's like a money one, right? It's like very high success is almost promised when you have that. I'd be very, very surprised if you weren't a successful person. I think of like politicians, just influential people, and whatever they do, they're people who can really, really make things happen. Arabic for the falling eagle. It's in the it's the main star in Lyra constellation. It's the brightest star of the northern sky and has a Venus nature, one of Neptune and Mercury. It's called Vega, the star of the Queen of Life. See? Great artistic talents, especially for music and acting, but also a liking for good living. Yeah, it says high success is promised, and they don't use this word much. If Vega is positioned on the horizon or meridian. One can find Vega in corresponding aspects in birth charts of statesmen, politicians, persons of importance, and influential people. Um, yeah, so you get that it's a big deal. Like Vega, like on because it's on the midheaven, is huge. Um, I know there's Marcab. I think that was it, right? Yeah. Okay, so Marcab, I know that one's not too good of one. Do they have it? So here it says is said to influence above all the spiritual and mental nature, to give a good head for figures, intellectual alertness, mental powers in general, and the ability to further propaganda activity if at the same time other relevant aspects are present. Blah 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 blah. That's right. Okay, so what it says here, let's see if it says anything. It says you have to really watch out for anyone you associate business wise, and you have to watch out, as I keep saying, for drink and other excesses. So really exercising caution with your associates and work and friends and even acquaintances. Um, like false fake friends is very high potential with Sun square Neptune that can make one gullible, as I said earlier, and then there can be legal problems that can come with that. Um, and just like with the Pluto opposite Venus, like that's difficult. Self-destruction can be possible. Okay, let's just finish up. I mean, we're done. I'm going so above and beyond for you. This is crazy. My longest reading in so long. I just want to see like if they have anything up for Taurus. Okay. See, I found something in this book. L. Cheratine. Yeah. So it doesn't give anything, but what it says here. So this one's not as important, obviously. Let's see what the orb they give. Eh. Martian Saturnian powers in this. So this is on your ascendant. That's why I want to look it up. So it makes it into a violent one, the nature. In relevant connections, danger is indicated when acting impulsively and in a foolhardy fashion. So when you're being really, it's all about mindfulness. Slow down. Don't be impulsive. Uh, it says, take the case of this native born, blah, blah, blah. Son in conjunction with his fixed star, he went to rescue of a friend in danger of drowning and he himself got drowned. Creates, yeah, very bold daredevils, right? It's definitely kind of like a part of Taurus where it gets shit done. Okay, went there, went there. Oh, of course, Procreon is on your Jupiter. You see, I didn't have that one up. I love this new book I have because I can only have a certain number of stars that pop up. So Procreon, I know that one. That's one of the 15 Bohemian stars. Um, so with Jupiter, it says many journeys, potential trouble through relatives in the church or law, a lot of help from friends. You see, I keep saying these things. And here we talk about in the neck of the dog in the front, the pristine Mars and Mercury nature, and therefore makes people hasty, jealous, and pig-headed because lots of willpower and the ability to put thoughts and plans in action. So getting past any jealousy, any of that Scorpio stuff is obviously so key in your chart. There's a hot temper potential. Um, rise and success are found with it, but a later fall from high positions is indicated if the person goes down a bad route. Um, it's about creating things not just like this, but you don't have the fire in your chart, so that's good. So lots of drive, sharp mind. Yeah, just like always making sure you're prudent. We keep getting this message from the stars. But you don't have it like with such a difficult, you have it with Jupiter. So I don't think, yeah, I think like yeah. Um everything I said before about the journeys and friends and all that. Okay, just about done. I'm going above and beyond, above and beyond. Last one I want to see is Mercury. 1723 Pisces and one Virgo, and then we are out. One Virgo from Mars. I don't think there's anything there. But these have stars I've never heard of. PHACD. Let's see if it pops up. Fixed star pack pack. So that's with Mars. It doesn't give us any information. But here it says Mars. So yeah, it says its influence perhaps is not felt very much. So um, Yeah, it doesn't give any information. Yeah. Okay, last Pisces. I don't think these will show up. Besides Mark had, which we already talked about. 17 though. Nope. Nope. So that is it. My not my record, but my record in the last few months for length. 22222. I'm gonna end it exactly 22222. Actually I'm not. So yeah, let me know. Do the follow-up in current astrology. Trust me, it will be worth every cent times a million. Take your time on this, and I hope you enjoyed. I went crazy. This is like two readings in one. All right.